Okay, so this is going to be my second video of my day 2 of my South Carolina trip. And so we arrived on Thursday, and on Friday we woke up around 9 because we were very tired, and we did some stuff around my brother's house, and then we left. We drove about 45 minutes to Charleston from Walterboro, South Carolina, and we parked in a public parking place. We didn't really try to be close to anything specific, so we just got one. The sign said $18 for the whole day, but my stepdad, I think he said that it ended up being about $10 later on when he paid for it. So we were there from I don't know, we're around 10 something or 11 to about 5 or 6 in the afternoon. So that's actually a good price, but it was, remember, that was a Friday. So, and then anyway, so our destination was to go to the Old Exchange and Provost dungeon first, but my mom always gets hungry and she has to eat around 11:30 or noon. And so when we were walking, we ended up walking by this street that had just a lot of restaurants on it, and they were outside. The one that we ended up picking was outside giving out some samples of food, and so it was a seafood restaurant, and I don't eat seafood, but they had other things there as well. So we went in there. It was really good. I got chicken tenders and french fries, which you know is the go-to when you don't want to eat anything else. And then yeah, so we left there and we started walking towards our destination, which was the Old Exchange and the Provost dungeon. And my parents love architecture and just historic, things. So as we were walking, we were stopping a lot. Ended up stopping right before our destination at the St. Micheals Churchyard, which is a cemetery, and my mom has always been the type of person that likes, to go into cemeteries, and just, we're kind of a weird family, but it's, that's okay. That's Benji running around, and then that's Gigi in the window. So anyway, so we started walking after the churchyard to the Old Exchange and Provost dungeon, and we finally got there. And the cool thing was we were able to get a combination ticket of that and the Slave Mart, which is only a few blocks away from it. So we walked around there, and then we walked a few blocks over to the Slave Mart, and just took in the city, looking at all the buildings and everything. We don't really like to plan when we go places. We just kind of like to just walk around and see what happens and just find things as they come. We never really do city tours or anything, but yeah, that's usually what we do when we go places. So this first clip is just gonna be us walking in Charleston, and just some of the cool things that we saw along the way.
Don't fall asleep at the wheel. We've got a million miles ahead of us, miles ahead of us. All that we need is a rude awakening to know we're good enough, know we're good enough. Say go through the darkest of days, heaven's a heartbreak away. Never let you go, never let me down.
So this first clip is gonna be us at the Hymans Seafood restaurant. I got the full menu. I wasn't able to get the food because we had a lot of kids, and just a lot of kids equals just craziness. And so there's that. And then the cool thing was that my brother luckily was paying attention. It was after when you have kids, after they get eat their food and whatever, they give them these coupons to go to the gift shop that's a part of the restaurant, and they can get either popcorn or ice cream. I guess it's either included in the price or just you know, an extra treat for, you know, the kids. So that was really cool. But yeah, so here it goes. This is the Hymans Seafood restaurant. They were passing out hush puppies in the front, and they were very sweet and very good. And then the next clip is my daughter on a joggling bench. It's really popular in South Carolina. Okay, so after that we, like I said, we walked, just taking in the sights, and stumbled upon the churchyard, which was the cemetery. And this next clip is just gonna be just quick, you know, thing, like just walking around it and looking at all these cool headstones that dated back to like 1770, or some of them were like that old, and it was just really cool. They actually took really good care of their headstones, which is cool, but it's just cool to see that kind of stuff. And like I said, my family's kind of crazy, so here we go.
Hell of a ride, driving the edge of a knife. Never let you go, never let me down. Don't you give up, no, no, no. I won't give up, no, no, no. Let me love you, let me love you. Don't you give up, no, no, no. I won't give up, no, no, no. Let me love you, let me love you.
Okay, so this next video is where we finally got to the Old Exchange and Provost dungeon. I did forget to mention that right before we went in there, across the street, there was a cute little cafe, and I love like little cafes. So we went in there, and they had, it said bakery. That's what got me going in there. And so I went in there, and they had like donuts and like cookies and a cupcake. And there wasn't a lot of options like I thought there was gonna be, but the people in there were really nice, and it's literally right across the street from the Old Exchange and Provost dungeon. So I really need to find out what the name of it is, because it was really good, and the people there were just so nice. But anyway, so we went over after getting a few treats for later. We went into the Provost Exchange and the Old Exchange and Provost dungeon, and it wasn't that busy, so that's always nice, especially, you know, coming from Florida, and like everything's always busy. There's no off season barely anymore. And so we went in there and found out the combination ticket, which was a better option for us to go and do the Old Exchange Provost dungeon, and then later on go to the Slave Market, Slave Market that was a few blocks away. And so yeah, we tried our best to go through some museums with a bunch of kids, which was pretty interesting. So here's the next clip. So that was the outside of the Old Exchange building. Annie right there. The first room is right behind where you get your tickets. It has lots of artifacts, lots of clothing from that time period. Annie, again, more clothes, paintings, there were buttons, and like soldiers' clothes. There's a chair coming out that's set above it. And the bigger the chair, the more power the person had in the government. Yeah, more artifacts. A bank right here. That's what it looked like back in the day. Dining room. Apart from the Provost dungeon, and on their website says, during the American Revolution, British forces converted the bottom floor of the exchange into a military prison known as the Provost or dungeon. American prisoners of war, British soldiers, private citizens, and enslaved people all endured harsh confines. It says previously a meeting place for local patriots, the exchange in 1788 hosted South Carolina's leaders as they debated and approved the U.S. Constitution. Today, the old exchange building is only one of 4 structures remaining where the nation's founding document was originally ratified. And then it had more artifacts, really great views of the city. Alright, so this next part is where we walked a few blocks to the old slave market. I was able to get a video of the outside of it because when we went inside, the lady at the front was telling everybody that we couldn't use your phones, cameras, or video recording, and I honestly think it was just because they wanted to show respect for the history of the building, and also because when you go inside there's a lot to read, so maybe they just don't want it, you know, all this craziness going on, and they just want you to take in the history of the building. They're honestly, like, it should take you maybe an hour or 2 to go through the whole thing, just reading things and looking at all the artifacts that they have. It was difficult for us because we had a bunch of kids, and since it was so much to read and not as much so much to look at, I really tried to just, for me and my daughter, to just walk around, and for me to kind of try to just explain to her like what this building was, and like showing her the artifacts of things, like just having her understand, like, you know, this was America's history, and hopefully things like this that we teach our kids will help them, you know, not repeat the past. And so we went through that the best that we could with all these kids, and it was a great place. The people were there were very nice and helpful. Everybody was very quiet and respectful, you know, to the whole building. So yeah, go check it out. Okay, so I actually forgot that there was one more place that we went to before we were done with the day. My mom got this, I think it was about $13 for like 5 or 6 people from Groupon to go to this really tiny museum. It was called the Old Powder Magazine, I think. It's in Charleston, and it's a tiny little building that they used to keep their gunpowder in. I wasn't thinking anything of it because my mom was just making it seem like it was just this tiny little museum or whatever. So the next clip is gonna be us in there. It was very quick, but like everybody was really tired, and I was like worried because like my brother's son was just not wanting to be in the stroller anymore. He just wanted to run around. But actually when we got in there, the lady was really nice at the front, and she apparently, like, it was more interactive than a lot of the other places that we went today for kids. They gave them a scavenger hunt where they had to go through and look at everything and try to find, you know, like just in the text of like what was in the building, of like what questions were in the scavenger hunt. So my daughter had a really fun time learning the history and doing the scavenger hunt. They had a little game that had to do with pirates in there. Also the outside was actually like really beautiful. Like the little one was able to just run around because it was gated while my mom watched the baby, and then like all the kids were having lots of fun doing the scavenger hunt, and at the end they actually did give them a free prize of a postcard, and they ended up giving me a postcard for free too because I helped my daughter. But then later on I saw that they were just giving out free postcards like randomly somewhere else, so it was just really cute idea because like my daughter was really like excited that, you know, I'm ready for my prize. And I gotta find those postcards, but they were really cute. There was 3 to choose from, and each kid was able to, you know, pick out the postcard that they won from the scavenger hunt. So yeah, go check it out. It's really small, but it was like a fun thing to do, like really quickly. It only took us, we spent like maybe 30 minutes in there, so yeah, check it out. This is the magazine in South Carolina. It's the oldest government building. It was used in the American Revolution, and then later on it ended up being a print shop, a livery stable, a wine cellar, and a carriage house. It had lots of artifacts, that this is where the kids did their scavenger hunt, and had some stuff that had to do with some pirates that were in the area at the time. And yeah, it's just this really small building that was super cute. So after Charleston, we left and went back to Walterboro. My mom was not wanting to really do anything, so we just went to McDonald's and got food for everybody. We went home, ate, and then literally just fell asleep. But yeah, so my next video is probably going to be that Saturday of us going to the Magnolia Plantation in South Carolina. I'm really excited about it because there was actually a lot of fun stuff to do. So thank you for watching, and hopefully again I didn't bore you to death. But I'll see you in the next video.